Trust is on a mission to make us a nation of better parents. And that means answering some of the big questions facing mums and dads today.
I remember feeling so tired that I could feel my senses failing. I couldn't hear properly anymore. I couldn't see properly anymore.
I'm so tired. I haven't slept properly since she was born, and that's almost a year ago now.
I actually can't remember the last time I had a full night's sleep.
And I don't know when sleep is coming, if ever.
I feel very guilty about this, but we used to give them a medicine which was for travel sickness or for children with chicken pox that had something in it, that had like a sedative in it. So we used to dose them up with that and then go to bed early and get a really good night's sleep.
So how much sleep is the right amount? Probably the worst people to ask are the kids themselves.
If it was a school night and you could choose the time you went to bed, what time would it be?
Most of these 8-year-olds picked a bedtime of 9 p.m. or later, but an incredible 20% of them would opt to stay up as late as midnight.
Nearly half of all parents don't know what time their kids should be going to bed. Do you know how much sleep your kids need? Does it matter? And does losing out on sleep have any real impact on kids beyond them feeling a bit tired?
To find out, Joe's putting this group of 8 to 11-year-olds through a unique scientific experiment to discover if sleeping hours affect their mental abilities. Dr. Kathy Hill is a leading expert in paediatric sleep disorders, and she believes that sleep should be a hot topic for all parents.
The thing that it's important that everybody understands is that sleep is important for just about everything for children. It's important for physical growth, it's important for their learning, it's important for their behaviour, it's important for their development generally.
Dr. Hill is working with child development neuropsychologist Dr. Dagmara Anaz and her team at Middlesex University. They've devised a series of tests to expose any damage that could be inflicted by sleep loss on children's mental performance.
Unfortunately, we know that over the past 20 years, there is some evidence that children are getting less sleep than they were.
So does this modern pattern of diminishing sleep pose a threat to our children's future development? The 9 children taking part currently have an average bedtime of 9 p.m. This gives them the recommended amount of sleep of 10 hours a night. 3 of the families have let our cameras into their homes, and all the parents have agreed to follow whatever bedtime Joe sets.
Hello, boys and girls, Joe here. Have you ever felt really sleepy at school? So sleepy that you can't do maths, you can't do English, and you can't answer any of the teacher's questions? Well, we're going to try and find out why. For the next 6 nights, Sunday to Friday, you can go to bed any time you want. You can go out, you can play football, you can play the computer games, watch TV. This is your chance to set the bedtime rules, so make the most of it. You choose what time you want to go to bed, as long as it's no later than 11 o'clock. Oh, yeah. If you're still not in bed, then parents, you step in and get them to bed. Oh, and one more rule. I need you to get out of bed in the morning for school. Mums and dads, make sure you have your alarm clock set. No sleeping in and no being late.
Staying up till 11 p.m. on a school night is a first for all the children.
11 o'clock at night?
Huh.
And get up at 7?
Huh.
They will be grumpy. They'll definitely be grumpy. So.
And do you think it'll last till 11 o'clock at night?
Mm-hmm.
Every night?
Mm-hmm.
And get your homework done?
Mm-hmm.
With 2 extra hours to fill before bedtime, most of the children choose stimulating activities that keep them awake.
You can see them running around the house by now. We'd have been putting them to bed, but Richie's playing football or something on his PlayStation, and Amara's been playing the drums.
I'm going to bed soon. And I'll leave them to it.
Your eyes look heavy as well. I've just said to Callum, you can go to bed if you want to, you know.
Yeah, I heard.
Well, do you want to go to bed?
No.
As 11 o'clock approaches, all of the kids have chosen to stay up as late as they're allowed. And rather than winding down, the later it gets, the more overactive they become.
I can't wait to get them into bed so I can go to bed.
I'm shattered.
Find out later how the kids are affected by a week of late nights. First week of Joe's special sleep experiment. They're about to find out if staying up late has impaired their learning abilities. All week, they've chosen to go to bed at 11. But they still have to get up for school at 7.
Wakey, wakey. It's time to get up.
I'm so tired.
That means they can only get a maximum of 8 hours sleep.
2, please.
2 less than the recommended 10 hours for kids of their age.
He's been up on his PlayStation, watching DVDs, and I've been sitting there yawning.
Oh, I'm feeling tired.
We do need an early night.
It's starting to be a bit of a struggle now.
Both of them are at breaking point. They just can't handle it any longer.
Yawns in the classroom are more than just an irritation to the teachers. To Dr. Hill, these are warning signs of an underlying problem that could have serious consequences in the future.
If you're tired, everything is just harder work. Children are at a stage where they're learning every day. They're learning new tasks. They may be learning to ride a bike, learning to play the piano. And if you're trying to do that whilst you're tired, you're at a disadvantage. And the next child who's had a good night's sleep is going to do better than you are.
To discover the real consequences of a week of restricted sleep, Joe has sent the kids to Middlesex University. Here, Dr. Dagmara Anaz and her team will test if their learning abilities in the short term have been affected.
Starting now. Cinnamon.
The mental performance of each child will be measured using a series of psychological and cognitive tests.
Okay. Watermelon.
Next up is 9-year-old Sydney.
What we're looking at here is verbal fluency, see how many fruit she can name within a minute.
Are you ready? Start now.
Mango, apple, pear.
Even before the results are in, Dr. Hill can spot the signs of a child with restricted sleep.
Lemon, melon.
Sleep-deprived children, quite unlike adults, are more likely to appear overactive. Observing Sydney, she's constantly pedalling her legs. And this is the body's way of keeping the brain engaged. Only when they become really tired, usually, do you notice the obvious signs of tiredness, like yawning, rubbing eyes, etc. The commoner signs are of a fidgety child.
Sydney only manages to think of 11 words in a minute. Can 10-year-old Zetchi do any better?
In shorthand, OK? So you ready? So there's many different fruits that you can think of. Go. Apricot, banana, apple, mango.
He's really struggling. He's really struggling. I mean, interestingly, he looked tired before he even started. And he came out, I think, with about 3 words there, and he stopped. He's got a whole minute to fill.
Don't worry, you did really well, OK? Well done. Oh, time has gone.
All 9 children show signs that they're failing to be as fluent with words as they should be.
Camera.
And stop. So when you see this, don't look at it.
Now for the eye tracker, which measures how easily the kids can be distracted from a simple task.
One of the important skills that you learn as you go through childhood is to maintain your focus on one task. And you can think how important that is in a real-world setting, like a classroom, for example. The child needs to be able to stay on focus.
Do you need a bit of break? Someone is falling asleep here.
This is the first time that Dr. Anaz has tried this test on children.
Here we've got Saoirse. It's rather unusual that she couldn't carry out this task.
In fact, 80% of the children struggle to even complete the test. Across the range of tests, a week of late nights has seen the kids' average mental age decline from 10 to 7 years.
Sleep deprivation long-term isn't just about how they perform the next day. Even if sleep improves, it may have a long-term effect in some children.
Coming up,
Hello, boys and girls, it's Jo again.
Jo shows parents how to maximise their kids' performance.
This week, we're going to make sure that every boy and girl gets the sleep that they need. Sound good?
No.
That every boy and girl gets the sleep that they need. Parents, you're back in charge. Get the bedtime routine in place. Bath, teeth brush, stories, bed. Oh, also, no distractions. So that means all computers and TVs must leave the bedroom. Maybe that way I'll get to see some bright eyes and bushy tails by the end of this week. Let's find out. Good luck!
I want to sleep late.
Sound good?
No.
Who was saying yes last week when they got to stay up to 11? Now it's Mum and Dad's turn. Yes.
But there's no point in sending kids to bed earlier if they can't sleep. Jo's answer is to banish all the electronic gadgets that excite and overstimulate young minds.
All of them? Where is the PSP?
Hurry up. I knew he tried to hide the PSP. Thank you, Callum. It's awful when you think about how much they've got and that just, you know, allows them to sit in a room on their own and just occupy themselves. It's terrible.
Over at the Kennedy household, Saoirse, who almost fell asleep during the tests, is saying goodbye to her impressive selection of gadgets.
DVD player, in we go. Where's your iPod?
I think this is a very rubbish idea and I don't like it.
The only gadget these kids will need from now on is a clock. Jo has set dinner time for 6, followed by wind-down time at 7, so they can be ready for bed and quiet reading at 7:30, and lights out at 8.
Let's get your book ready now for Dad, reading your book. Well,
This will give them 11 hours a night, an hour more than is currently recommended.
Good night. See you in the morning. It's 10 to 8. I've said they can read for another 10 minutes and then I'm going to go out and turn the lights off. It seems to have gone very smoothly. I'm a bit dubious. Perhaps the no TV and the calm and perhaps it is working. Right, night-night. Love you both.
The children in Jo's sleep experiment have now been getting 11 hours sleep a night for a week, 1 hour more than they normally do. Jo sent them back to Dr. Hill and the team to be tested again.
Think of as many different animals that you can, starting now.
Last week, 10-year-old Zetchi could only name 10 fruits during his verbal fluency test. Will his performance improve following 11 hours sleep a night?
Last week we had a little boy who was clearly very tired. He stretched, he yawned.
Monkey, chimpanzee, crocodile.
This time, he gets 23.
That's good. Well done. Hello, it's Sydney, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hello, Sydney.
Last time you spelled my name wrong.
I did. I spelt it with an S. I know. I'm sorry. I've got it right.
9-year-old Sydney was extremely fidgety during last week's test and appeared to be trying to keep herself awake.
This week she looks much brighter and more alert.
So words that begin with the letter T, starting now.
Sing, think, tag along.
Sydney virtually doubles her score from last week.
Done.
It's like a little princess.
Last week, Saoirse couldn't complete the eye tracker. Can she stay focused this time?
Certainly last week she was yawning and stretching and, you know, physically looked tired. I think she's doing well by the sounds of things.
By the end of the tests, the children's performance is almost unrecognisable. In week 1, a maximum of 8 hours sleep a night rendered 80% of the kids incapable of even completing the eye tracker test. But after 11 hours sleep, every child completed the test with improved speed and accuracy. Across the range of tests, their mental age rose by 2 years to age 12, an enormous improvement on last week, when just 8 hours sleep saw their mental age drop to that of a 7-year-old.
We genuinely were amazed by the results. I think it's important to recognise that children don't make changes from week to week in these sort of tests normally. Normally, we'd expect these sort of improvements to take place over months of a child's development. There's a lot of parents that will actually spend extra money giving their children home tuition, sending them off to classes. And actually, you know, this is suggesting that if they could just go to bed a little bit earlier and have a better night's sleep, these children could improve in their day-to-day function fairly significantly.
Have the parents seen enough to convince them to adopt an extra hour's sleep a night?
We're going to stick to the routine.
We're going to stick to the routine as much as we can. We had no TV at all this week, and it's made a big difference to us.
I know they keep on complaining that now they have to go to bed early, so they had fun going to bed late. So I don't know if they've noticed it themselves, but we have.
But as they've discovered, an earlier bedtime is little use without wind-down time.
Well, I think it's helped the fact that they're not playing in their bedrooms. I mean, it all makes sense when you think about it. So they're going to be tempted to, oh, I don't want to go to sleep, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Whereas this week, because they haven't been going into their bedrooms apart from to get changed and then go to bed, I just think it's really worked.
Making sure your kids get enough sleep is just about the best thing you can do for them. So if you're going to do one thing, make sure their bedroom isn't packed full of electronic gadgets and games and things to get them all wound up.
Love you both.